Welcome to the Evolution of Man. This series challenges the version of manhood many of us inherited. The silence, the pride, the emotional distance. The belief that providing money excuses a lack of presence. The belief that effort only counts when someone notices. Men have grown, but many of us are still carrying values built for survival, control, and performance. Values that limit how we show up with the women, with partners, with children, with ourselves. Part 1 turns the mirror towards men. This is where we confront the ego, the excuses, the surface level healing, the emotional gaps we keep asking our families to accept. So you may believe the cards are stacked against you. You may believe change takes too much time. You may believe this is simply who we are. But it is what it is often what we say when accountability feels harder than staying the same. So this series is not here to shame men. This series is here to challenge men who know their families deserve more. Your partner should not have to beg for emotional safety. Your children should not have to study your moods. The people who love you should not have to lose themselves trying to reach you. The question is not whether men are capable of changing. The question is whether we are willing to stop defending the version of us that keeps causing harm. Connect with 15 Minutes with Dad on social media and join the conversation. Join our weekly call-ins and fatherhood community on Discord at 15 Minutes with Dad. Share your story, your struggles, or the work you are doing by emailing me directly at Lirec, Lirec at 15minuteswithdad.com. This is part 1. The mirror is up. So let's get honest. Before you defend the man you became, ask one question. Did you choose him, or did survival choose him for you? Let's pause there. Most men never sat down and built a definition of manhood from scratch. We inherited it. Somebody taught us what a man should sound like. Somebody taught us which emotions earned respect. Somebody taught us which emotions brought ridicule. Somebody taught us how much pain to hide, who held authority in the home. Someone taught us whether love looked like affection, money, discipline, silence, sacrifice, fear, or control. Even when nobody spoke those lessons aloud, we watched. We watched men work. We watched men withdraw. We watched men yell. We watched men provide. We watched them avoid apologies. We watched women carry emotional weight nobody named. We watched children learn when dad felt safe to approach and when everyone needed to stay out of his way. Then we grew up. We call those patterns personality. We call them standards, leadership. We called them manhood. Some of those lessons built discipline, courage, endurance, protection, loyalty, and responsibility. Keep those. But some lessons taught emotional silence, dominance, entitlement, avoidance, fear of vulnerability, and control. Those require an honest review. A family should never pay the price for a definition of manhood you never stopped to question. Welcome back to 15 Minutes with Dad. I am Lirec Williams. This show is for fathers, co-parents, husbands, partners, and men committed to building emotionally safe homes. Today begins a new series, The Evolution of Man. Episode 1 is called The Man You Inherited. Now, we are starting here because a man rarely changes a pattern he still sees as a virtue. A man who sees silence as strength will resist emotional communication. A man who sees money as his full contribution will overlook the labor happening around him. A man who sees obedience as respect will mistake fear for leadership. But a man who sees every concern as criticism will defend himself while his relationship loses oxygen. But a man who believes good intentions erase harmful impact will keep hurting people while describing himself as a good man. Good character requires more than good intentions. Good character shows up through honest reflection, changed behavior, repair, and consistency. Today is not about blaming our fathers or grandfathers. Many men before us carried wars, racism, poverty, dangerous work, family instability, addiction, abandonment, grief, and social pressure with few emotional resources. Many survived the only way they knew. Respect their survival, but learn from their limitations. Your grandfather's coping strategy does not need to become your child's emotional inheritance. I learned survival before I learned emotional language. I knew how to work. I knew how to carry pressure. I knew how to keep moving, how to make something happen when life offered no easy route. I have lived through homelessness. I have worked multiple jobs. I have raised children while building a career. I've learned how to solve problems, create stability, keep responsibility moving forward from outside. Those qualities look like strength. They are strength. Yet strength built for survival does not automatically create closeness. Survival asks, how do I get through today? Relationship asks, how does my presence affect the people beside me? Survival learns speed. Relationship needs patience. Survival learns self-protection. Relationship needs openness. Survival learns control. Relationship needs trust. Survival learns how to carry weight alone, but family life requires shared weight, honest communication, and room for another person's truth. A man often feels confused when the traits behind his success create problems at home. He thinks, my drive built this house. His partner thinks, your drive keeps you emotionally absent. He may think, I solve every problem. His child may think, Dad never listens. He starts fixing before I finish speaking. He thinks, I do everything for this family. His family thinks, we want more access to you, not more output from you. Both sides hold part of the truth. Your discipline deserves respect. Your family's experience deserves respect too. So providing for your family does matter. Being emotionally unavailable while providing still leaves those people alone. A paycheck solves financial needs. It does not offer comfort after a hard day. It does not apologize after yelling. It does not notice tension inside the home. It does not teach a son how to name fear. It does not teach a daughter what emotional safety feels like around a man. A paycheck is simply a contribution. Presence is another type of contribution. Partnership is another type of contribution. Emotional responsibility is another type of contribution. The evolved man understands the full job in its entirety. Let us name several inherited rules. Let's start with Rule 1. Rule 1 is very common. We hear it all the time. Men do not show weakness. This rule sounds protective. The hidden message says sadness lowers your value. Fear makes you less masculine. Asking for support creates shame. So your pain gets buried. Buried pain rarely stays quiet. Pain returns as things like irritability, overworking, emotional withdrawal, controlling things that is out of your control, addiction, short temper, numbness. It returns through the relationships closest to you. And a 2024 study involving 1,400 men found links among depressive symptoms: loneliness, conformity to traditional masculine norms, and hiding mental distress. Men dealing with greater loneliness and stronger pressure to follow old masculine rules showed more non-disclosure. Silence did not remove distress. It reduced access to support. Let's talk about Rule 2. A man must be in control. Control feels safe for someone raised around chaos, for sure. I understand why a man reaches for control. Control offers predictability. It lowers your fear for the moment. But inside a family, control often blocks trust. Your leadership should say, I will create clarity, listen, make decisions with care, and remain accountable. But control says my comfort determines everyone else's behavior. Leadership would welcome information. Control punishes disagreement. Leadership stays steady. Control demands obedience from the people around them. Leadership builds safety. Control builds secrecy. Leadership without listening is control wearing a respectable name. So let's go into rule 3. Providing gives a man authority over the people he provides for. Providing carries honor. A father who works hard to shelter, feed, educate, and protect his family deserves recognition. Money does not purchase exemption from emotional responsibilities. A partner still needs your collaboration. Children still need your warmth. A home still needs repair after conflict. So just because you go to work doesn't mean you can't come home and do anything else that the wife does or your partner does. Daily life still includes appointments, meals, school form signing, clothing sizes, emotional check-ins, birthday planning, discipline conversations, bedtime routines, transportation, medical needs, and hundreds of small decisions. So when one partner carries the invisible planning and the other partner measures contribution through income alone, resentment grows. You don't get a pat on the back just because you went to work and came home. The issue is not men working. The issue is a narrow scorecard. A modern family needs financial support and relational support. Now let's go into rule 4. Respect means agreement. A child who questions you is not always disrespectful. A partner who names pain that you've caused is not always attacking you. A co-parent who requests a clearer process is not always challenging your authority. Sometimes people are giving you information, but ego turns information into insults. Emotional maturity turns information into evaluation. What can I do better? Now, you don't need to agree with every complaint that comes your way. You do need enough self-control to hear one without punishing the speaker. Let's take a quick pause for a moment. If this podcast has helped you slow down, see something different, or show up better as a dad, I want to ask you to do one simple thing for me. Take a second and rate 15 Minutes with Dad on whatever platform you're listening on right now. Those ratings help this work reach more fathers who are trying to do better, more men who are trying to be greater in their families' lives. And if you're having a meaningful moment, an awesome conversation with your kids, a breakthrough, or even a hard lesson that you're learning and want to share it on social media and tag us at 15 Minutes with Dad. And I read them. They matter a lot to me. And they remind other dads they're not doing this alone. All right? Let's get back to it. Let's go to rule 5. Intent matters more than impact. Most often, men defend their intentions because intention or their intent protects their identity. I did not mean to hurt you. We say that a lot. I was just trying to help. Or I work hard for this family. I only raised my voice because nobody listened. I said those words because I was angry. Those statements explain behavior, but they do not repair the impact that you've caused. Your explanation does not erase their experience. A mature man holds two truths. My intention was not harmful. My behavior still caused harm. Both statements fit inside one accountable conversation. Recent research gives fathers a clear message. The quality of our presence matter. A 2026 peer-reviewed study examined 740 fathers in the United States and the United Kingdom. Researchers found distinct patterns of masculine norm adherence. Fathers with the strongest orientation toward dominance, power over women, winning, sexual pursuit, and work reported the highest psychological distress and the poorest father-child relationship quality. Fathers with more egalitarian, non-traditional patterns generally reported lower distress and stronger father-child relationships. This does not mean ambition is wrong. Work is not the enemy. Strength is not the enemy. Competition is not the enemy. The problem begins when status becomes identity, dominance becomes leadership, and achievement becomes the only place where a man feels worthy. A second 2026 meta-analysis reviewed 65 studies involving more than 154,000 children and 127,000 fathers. Positive engagement, warmth, and responsiveness from fathers were linked with stronger social and emotional development in young children. So warmth and responsiveness mattered across both present and later outcomes. Your child does not only study your instructions, your child studies your nervous system, how you respond to mistakes, whether sadness receives comfort or ridicule, whether conflict ends with repair or cold silence, how you speak about women, how you treat their mother, your partner, your co-parents, service workers, family members, and yourself. They study whether strength makes room for tenderness. Every repeated response becomes a lesson. Public fatherhood conversations show the same tension. Dads are asking how to raise boys with courage and emotional awareness. Fathers are asking how to build resilience without humiliation. But they're describing loneliness while working hard to remain present for their children. Single fathers are speaking about trauma, depression, stereotypes, and the work of rebuilding mental health. The question is no longer whether masculinity should disappear. The question is which version of masculinity helps men, partners, and children thrive. Other fatherhood and mental health podcasts are all moving in the same direction. A 2025 Being Well episode with Terry Real and Justin Real focused on male invulnerability, emotional intelligence, parenting, and the need for connection over dominance. The Dad Edge has framed emotional intelligence as missing skill in fatherhood these days. This wider discussion shows a growing demand for models of manhood built around responsibility, connection, and healthy strength. And here's where this episode becomes personal. Think about the last time someone close to you gave feedback. What happened inside your body? Did your chest tighten? Did your voice rise? Did you start building your defense before the person finished their sentence? Did you search for their flaws? Or did you bring up an old mistake that they made? Did you focus on the tone that they were speaking in so you'll never face the message? Did you explain your intention? Did you leave? Did you go silent? Did you punish honesty with distance? Ego is not confidence. Ego is a part of you working to protect an identity from information. Confidence says, I know my value and I remain open to correction. Ego says, correction threatens my value, so I must defeat the message. But a strong man does not need to win every conversation. Just need enough internal security to learn from one conversation. Some men hear accountability and feel shame. But shame would say, I'm a bad man, but if you're taking responsibility, you would hear things or say things like, I used a harmful pattern and I'm sorry. Shame attacks identity, but responsibility examines behavior. Shame freezes growth, where responsibility creates a next step. So you do not need to hate yourself to change yourself. You do not need to stop protecting behavior which keeps harming your home. Your partner should not need a presentation, 3 examples, 2 witnesses, and a crisis before you take pain seriously. Your child does not need to withdraw before you notice disconnection. Your co-parent should not need conflict before receiving clear communication. Your family should not need to suffer while you debate whether your healing matters. So here's your first framework for this series. We're going to use 4 questions. Question 1, what rule did I inherit? Write 1 sentence. For example, A rule I inherited: a man never cries. A man leads and everyone follows. A man earns money. Home duties belong to women. A man handles his problems alone. A child should never question an adult. An apology lowers authority. Anger earns respect. Those are just a few. Then we're going to look at question 2, which is, how does this rule shape my reaction? I want you to look for behavior. Do you shut down? Do you yell? Do you overwork to avoid, or do you avoid therapy? Do you reject support from others? Do you miss emotional labor? Do you punish disagreement? Do you become sarcastic? Do you leave during hard conversations? Do you blame others for your reactions? Those are a few of those. Ask yourself those questions. Question 3, what does this pattern cost me? Name the cost without softening the answer. It could be loss of trust, emotional distance, fear inside the home with your kids and your family, a partner who stops sharing. Maybe your partner's cheating on you, a child who hides mistakes, or maybe your partner said, I want divorce. A co-parenting relationship built around tension, loneliness, resentment, repeated conflict, poor sleep, substance use, a body living under constant stress, a life full of people with no closeness, things like that. And you could take any of those and use them as your own. Question 4, what new standard will replace the old rule? Do not stop at just awareness. Everybody knows you got to be aware. But we want to build replacement behavior. So old rule may be men do not cry. A new standard for that could be a grounded man expresses emotion without making others responsible for managing him. Or an old rule, respect means obedience. A new standard would say respect grows through consistency, boundaries, listening, and accountability. Old rule, I provide so nobody should question me. New standard, provision is one part of partnership. My family deserves financial, practical, and emotional participation. Another old rule is I handle problems alone. A new standard could be responsible men seek support before pressure becomes damage. And lastly, an old rule of apologies lower authority. A new standard could be repair, strengthens trust, and models integrity. The new standard must show up under stress. Anyone sounds evolved during a calm podcast. Growth shows up when you feel misunderstood. When your child talks back, when your partner says, I do not feel emotionally safe with you, or I don't feel like we're connected, or I feel distant, or when your co-parent sets a strong boundary, or when work has drained you and home still needs your full presence, or when your first reaction feels familiar and you choose a healthier response. Take a breath. Picture the men who shaped you. Your father, your grandfather, uncles, coaches, pastors, teachers, old friends, men on television, men online. Which lessons deserve gratitude? Which lessons deserve grief? Which lessons deserve retirement? Think of those things. Now I want you to picture your children, picture your partner, your future relationships. Picture the man who people experience when pressure rises. What will they inherit from you? Will they inherit your silence? Will they inherit your fear of feedback? Anger as the only acceptable emotion? Will they inherit love expressed through money but withheld through affection? Will they inherit control presented as protection? Or will they inherit a wider definition of strength? A man who works and rests, who protects and listens, who leaves and receives feedback, sets boundary without fear, who owns impact, a man who repairs, a man who seeks support, treats women as full partners, a man who gives children structure without crushing their voice, a man who holds emotion without surrendering responsibility. The goal is not softer men. The goal is safer, wiser, more honest men. Strength without self-awareness creates danger inside a home. Strength with self-awareness creates security. So the weekly challenge is I ask that for you to ask one trusted person a direction question. Choose your partner, co-parent, adult child, close friend, sibling, or therapist. Ask, which one pattern in me which makes closeness harder for us? And then listen to them and their response. Do not explain. Do not correct details. Do not attack their delivery. Do not bring up their faults. Do not request praise before receiving truth. Say, thank you for trusting me, and I'm going to think about what you shared. Then take 24 hours. Write the inherited rule behind the pattern. Write your normal reaction. Write the cost. Write a replacement standard. Return to the person and name one behavior you plan to practice and you plan to get better. It's important that you keep your promise small and measurable. Something like, I will put my phone down during serious conversations. Or I will take a 20-minute pause instead of yelling, and I will return at the time we agree on. Something like, I will manage 2 reoccurring family responsibilities from start to finish to your partner. Or I will schedule counseling. I will apologize to my child without adding an excuse. Or I will stop treating feedback as disrespect. Do not announce transformation. Practice change. Your family trusts patterns more than speeches. The first version of you formed through family, culture, pain, survival, reward, fear, and observation. You did not choose every lesson, but you still own every lesson that you continue. Evolution begins when a man stops asking, who is to blame for how I became this way? And the better question is, who is responsible for what happens next? The answer is you are. So am I. And we are not rejecting manhood. We are refusing a version of manhood which requires emotional blindness, control, distance, and harm. We are keeping courage, discipline, protection, responsibility. We're keeping service, and we're adding self-awareness. We're adding emotional language, repair, partnership, accountability, and we're adding connection. Your family does not need a perfect man. Your family needs a man willing to tell the truth about himself. Now, episode 2 will examine ego as armor and why feedback often feels like disrespect to men who learn to protect themselves before they learn to understand themselves. So share this episode with a man who is ready for an honest mirror. This is 15 Minutes with Dad. I'm Lirec Williams. Keep showing up, keep telling the truth, and let's keep evolving. Before you move on, let's pause here, because growth doesn't happen in the listening. It happens in what you choose next. So you don't need to change everything. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Stay present long enough to practice something different. So carry this into your home, into those small moments, the hard conversations, and the quiet decisions no one applauds. That's where fatherhood is built. And if something here resonated, let it become action. Let it become consistency, or become the way that you lead. Because this is how trust is formed. This is how safety is felt, and this is how generational change actually happens. And if this episode helps you, share it with another father who's trying to do better. And if you have a story, a win, or a lesson you're learning, email me at Lirec, Lirec, at 15minuteswithdad.com. That's Lirec at 15minuteswithdad.com. Because this work grows through shared experiences.